Hello, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the CSGO news episode. I hope you guys all enjoy. As always, all of today's stories will be timestamped down below if you want to jump around to them. Let's get into our first one though. For all you Polish fans out there, nothing too new, but it is a brand new team out there under a brand new name known as the Black Devils, and that will be the former Kinguin roster, which you guys do know TaZ. Of course, that Kinguin roster and the Kinguin organization actually shutting down entirely. That former owner alongside TaZ are now reforming that roster, pretty much the exact same roster with maybe one change to a brand new team going to be known as the Black Devils. Now, I'll link their website down below for all of you guys. Just don't go to it. Here's what you're going to see. It's going to hurt your eyes. It's good. And they also have their list of values. I'll leave that up there for a while if you guys want to read that off. It seems pretty cheesy so far and pretty much unanticlimactic, or very anticlimactic actually, with this new roster because it's not really too many changes. It's pretty much Kinguin underneath a brand new name. No new Polish Reformation guys. They're not going to pull in the old players that we thought they were going to. No Neo, no Pasha, which is kind of sad to see, but still this Kinguin roster did have a pretty solid success story when they were actually together, so I'm very excited to see where this Black Devil roster does go. And yeah, they have some qualifying spots for some leagues out there, as well as hopefully some tournaments throughout 2019 they'll manage to qualify for. But if you guys want a quick TLDR, it's pretty much the Kinguin roster is now going to be known as Black Devils. If that is the roster, thanks to HLTV, if that actually is the roster going forward, no big changes for them, although the only one thing we're actually waiting for now is their brand new logo. But let's hop into our next story as well. Pretty much the biggest story of the day, reported by Decay. Also in big news out there, I need to shout out the guy. Amazing work so far. You guys all know the guy, the reporter Decay. We talk about him all the time on here and use a bunch of his stories as well. He actually, congrats to him, guys. His last piece with VP Esports was all about Smooya potentially leaving big. He is now going to be joining though, or actually having his work featured on Dexerto, which is amazing. One of the largest, in my opinion, esports news outlets currently in the world. So congrats to Decay, but also his very last story with VP Esports was insane. That is potential for Smooya to be leaving this big clan roster. Now, I would like to say I am surprised, but I think we've seen a roller coaster of emotions, both inside the game and outside the game, for this roster, as well as especially for Smooya. Now, according to the report, guys, he's been looking into a few North American teams, a few European teams, and I think a lot of us would agree this big clan roster is not the same roster we thought they were back in 2018 with a top finish at Cologne. I mean, ever since then, like I said before, a roller coaster with this roster who once was projected to be a top 5 team. I just don't see that potential anymore. Now, hear me out on this. Now, don't get too offended. Of course, our latest results with Xantares joining this roster, they almost took down FaZe Clan and almost actually won the E-League Invitational. Only 4 teams were there, though, so keep that in mind. Over the past 4 months, you look at a team that's actually lost to Renegades. At the ESL Pro League Finals, they placed pretty poorly there, although making the finals is a great accomplishment. They then actually beat HR at Malta. They lose to ENCE and Optic at CS Summit and Star Series, a roller coaster of a team who we once thought after a top place finish, a second place finish to Na'Vi at ESL Cologne 2018, I think we all could agree the hype around this team was immense, but ever since then, it's been up and down and up and down, and several inconsistencies on this team besides just Smooya, but he was certainly one of them. I know I love his playstyle, I love cheering for the guy, but it's hard to deny he has been very inconsistent, and it's also tough to see his struggles, both emotionally, like I said before, in the game, as well as outside of the game on his Twitter account. I'm not going to show you guys the tweets, but we all remember them, right? The tweets that came out many months ago, a full German roster soon. Other tweets were said as well. I will not show you guys those, but we got it, right? There was a definite emotional struggle to fit into this roster, and that has clearly continued maybe to haunt him, or this is a new upbringing that we just don't know about. So either way, what I'm trying to get to is it's a crazy story, right? Obviously a big change, but with the addition of Xantares, I still think this roster certainly has top 10 potential, but I have to say, guys, of course, this move will not be made until post-major. I thought that was pretty obvious. That's why I didn't say it before. So still going to be a big change if it does actually go through. Smooya either to go EU, of course, maybe NA as well. I'm excited to see this guy's future, where he can actually fit a play style better into a different roster out there. It's just crazy to see this kind of stuff. I'm not totally surprised, and this certainly will have to hurt these guys' stock for when it comes time for the major. It really does. A lot of teams out there I'm already doubting for the major, and this certainly does not help their case for why I should actually bet on them or actually bid on them to do well at the major itself. But big news, guys, Smooya may be leaving Big Clan. And in very big news as well for Rogue, I honestly, for a second here, because we're approaching the major and we've had the player break and a lot of teams out there not competing for the past month and a half, or at least not too many events, just kind of qualifiers for the minor and such, Rogue being one of the teams I completely forgot. I'm a huge fan of Hiko, huge fan of Rogue, and I forgot Hiko was still on the roster, which is crazy, but his counterpart, guys, changed one letter. Niko will be joining the roster, technically in place of Ricky, who they lost to Complexity. They had Tensky actually filling in for that spot temporarily. temporarily. It will be Niko, though, formerly of a Heroic way back in the day. Well, not too way long ago, but also most recently, guys, a part of Optic. He just did not fit that playstyle. I think he was never really unleashed in that Optic lineup, who clearly have problems of their own to worry about. I think this is a great signing for a team that is often very much overlooked. They have an ESO Pro League spot, they have an ECS spot. Yes, they failed to even make the minor, and they've had some struggles along the way, but still, this is a great signing of an overlooked player on an overlooked roster. I am very excited to see what this roster can do in the future, because we've seen players on this roster have their moments, certainly have, especially when it came time for last major and qualifying for it. I'm excited to see what these guys can do. Yes, these past 2 seasons for ECS, qualifying for the majors, other tournaments as well, and of course ESO Pro League were a certain struggle for this roster, but I'm excited to see what this pickup will do, and I think certainly a good pickup for this Rogue roster. And then very lastly, guys, inside information for the future of the Denial roster. If you guys do not know the Denial story, their past owner was not paying off player debts. Apparently their new owner will be paying off those old debts, and also signed the brand new Brazilian squad, pretty much confirmed, that being Bravado Gaming. Now everyone besides Detrony will be joining that roster. Therefore, this new Denial roster, being formerly Bravado Gaming, is looking for a 5th member. Now, inside information, apparently PTR is not just a stand-in for this roster, but actually playing for a potential spot on the roster. Alongside that, guys, it does seem the team is actually looking towards another South African team, that being Team Energy. And what I've heard so far is that BLacKPoisoN, the most likely, the most rising, and actually probably the highest potential player they could pick up, is not likely to sign with this team. Of course, times can change, news can change, but as of right now, guys, PTR is an option. Alongside him, other South African players from Team Energy are likely to join that brand new Denial roster. But as always, my name is Jake. I hope you guys all enjoy your week. We are done with CSGO news until Monday, and we're gonna have some crazy things to break down. Starting next week, the major, of course, slowly approaching. We'll talk about predictions, some pick'ems, some sticker investments. Gonna be some great videos coming out. And as always, thank you guys all for liking the video. Thank you all for leaving comments down below. But also, we have a monthly giveaway for free for CSGO items. It'll be linked down below if you guys want to join. But as always, my name is Jake. Enjoy your weekends, and I'll see you back here Monday.